Welcome to Game Castle in Santa Clara, not to be confused with Redwood City, which is where we recently had a PQ and a showdown. This time we are south in Santa Clara. We are once again having a store showdown, though as you'll find out a little bit later, this format is a little bit different, and I didn't realize that going in, but I learned along the way. Now, in the previous store showdown, which was just a couple weeks before this one up in Redwood City, I was playing a Boba Yellow. But I felt like I was always biting at people's ankles. I could maybe get you in the early game, but I couldn't get you in the late game. So today I'm going to be playing a Boba Green, hoping to have more of that mid to late game presence, and we'll see how I do. This is also, there are some crossover in terms of the people playing today, but there's also a lot of a different crowd because this store is a bit further south. So I don't really know who all I'm going to be playing. I'm not familiar with the decks they play or their playing style. So we'll see how this store showdown goes. As always, losing is no big deal in Star Wars Unlimited. It's all about having fun with the people who play. So without further ado, let's see how I did at the store showdown at Game Castle, Santa Clara. What's up? It's your boy 90 Star Wars Kid. Just got done with round one of the store showdown here in Game Castle, Santa Clara. We're at Santa Clara this time. I played against a Kylo Data Vault. That's a blue-green Data Vault. And this was, going into it, I already knew this was going to be a real tough matchup if I had any chance at all. I've lost to a lot of these on Karabast. Game one, my deck is coming in with, my base deck is made to go against aggro decks, swarm decks. So the configuration was bad to begin with. I had lots of cards to do little bits of damage here and there, but my opponent wasn't playing any small stuff. He was just ramping, removing, then playing big stuff, then playing bigger stuff. So I lost pretty bad in game one. Game two, I lost as well, but I sideboarded in my late game cards. So, I mean, I have no doubt that I made the right sideboard substitutions, but the opening hand was not good. I had no turn two play. I think there were other turns where I didn't have the right amount of resources for the cards in my hand. So suffice it to say, game two was lost as well. Therefore, I go down 0-2 in the first round of this showdown. Not a surprise. I'm hoping that the next opponent I play is playing something either mid-game or aggro to see. That's really where this deck hopefully shines. But, you know, we'll see what happens. If I play him, we'll see if I win or not. I'll come back out here and give you an update after round two of the store showdown. Again, this time we are Game Castle, Santa Clara. See ya. All right, back here again. We just finished up round two, and this one was super disappointing because I got the matchup that I wanted. I got a matchup against my buddy Nathan, so shout out to Nathan. He beat me 2-0 in round two. He was playing Vader Yellow. My deck is practically built to deal with Vader Yellow. And my first game hands were awful for what I needed to do. Second game, I had a couple good cards and the rest of the hand was awful. So I missed out on almost all of my anti-Vader strategies. So some of the strategies that you may have seen me play on Karabast. On turn one, play an HK. I play an HK. My opponent would play 2 1-cost ships. Beginning of turn two, I play a grenade, kill both of those ships, do 4 damage to base because of HK, and then attack with, or 2 damage to base because of HK, and then attack with HK for another 2 to base. And that would end or start turn two with Vader hasn't gotten an attack in, so can't create a TIE Fighter token, no units ready to attack, and 4 damage on base. That's where I wanted to be. Neither game had an intro like that at all. I did get the grenade in game two. I was able to clear the board in the right after first turn, but I don't think I had HK down, and then kind of beyond that point, I really didn't have the cards that I wanted to play. I don't think I drew an open fire at any point in that game. I kept getting high cost cards, but regardless, even though I came totally prepared for that Vader Yellow deck, Nathan got the win. He beat me pretty handedly in game 1 because my hand was awful that game. Game 2, I came within 1 damage on his base. I think it's the War Juggernaut, the tank. I had War Juggernaut down. I actually played War Juggernaut twice because he waylaid it, and I wiped out a bunch of his space units twice. I had War Juggernaut down on the ground. I had Boba piloting the War Juggernaut for that 7 attack. There was 1 damaged unit on the entire board at that moment, so I hit for 8. I needed to hit for 9. It was my last chance to win the game. He had lethal in space. This was my last move. I had to hit for 9. I only had 8. None of the cards in my hand could add 1 more damage, and I lost. And what really saved the game for him there, so for any Vader players, what saved the game were the shuttles. I forget what they're called. The shuttles that can't be harmed or defeated by card abilities. He had them out. He had 1 out the entire game. He added a second one at the end of the game. So I couldn't, really none of my abilities there worked. I couldn't daring raid. I couldn't open fire. I couldn't indirect damage from Boba. I couldn't indirect damage from the War Juggernaut, or even directed damage from the War Juggernaut. Nothing harmed it. And it had raid too. It hits for 4. So those shuttles those won him the game. That was the reason he won. But he did a great job. He put those in his deck recently, a great ad. So now I'm 0 for 2, and we're back in whatever matchup I have next. It's not going to be as good as this one was, so don't have a whole lot of hope. But let's see where we are at the end of round 3. All right, we just got done with round 3. I played against a Cad Bane Tarkentown, so that's a yellow-red. And actually, Cad, I think, never actually managed to use his flip ability. I believe when he flips, he captures units. Although, actually, now that I say that, I think that might just be the Cad Bane unit. I haven't played Cad Bane cards myself, so I don't remember which one has which ability. And I think it's you play the 7-hit, like a 7/7 unit. I think that captures. I don't remember what the leader Cad Bane's flip ability is. But before he flips, what happens is, if you play an Underworld card this turn, you can exhaust Cad Bane and force your opponent to do a damage to one of his units that didn't enter play this turn or something like that. But do 1 damage to one of your opponent's units. So that's what I was playing against. And I did manage to win this round 2-0. Played against my buddy Andrew, and he said he had just put the deck together last night. So obviously he hadn't practiced with it. And maybe he would have tuned it differently, but he just threw it together, wanted to come have some fun, and so my Boba Green was able to take that out, win the first 2 rounds. Unfortunately, what I found out when we entered the 3rd round is that they are not running this showdown like the one that I went to a couple weeks ago at the other game Kastle. So at the other game Kastle, everybody played 5 rounds. It was 5 Swiss rounds, and then at the end of 5 rounds, whoever's in the top 8 is in the top 8. Whatever your ranking is based on record, that's what your record is, that's what your prizing is. Here, they've chosen to do 3 Swiss rounds, and then there's going to be a top 8 cutoff. So the top 8 will then play after that and see where they rank. The problem for me is I lost 2 out of my 3, so I'm almost positive I don't qualify the top 8 here. I don't think there are that few people. So I'm done. 3 rounds and I'm done. And that's unfortunate because this event was actually also a lot more expensive than the other one. The other one was $10. $10 to play 5 rounds. This is $30, and I end up only playing 3 rounds. So maybe the prizing is better for the people who win, but as you know, if you've been watching this channel, what I definitely don't do is win. So that prizing is irrelevant to me. Hopefully they'll consider changing the format in the future, but that means for today, I am 1-2, and we're all done. All right, see ya. Surprise, I'm back. I thought the last round was going to be it for me. It turns out that we had so few people here at the Showdown that just having 1 round win was enough to make the top 8. The problem is, I think the way that the top 8, the way that the matchups are done, is kind of like playoffs in sports. The best guy versus the worst guy, the best record versus the worst record. So I ended up in the first round of the top 8, playing against another Andrew. I mentioned Andrew in the previous round. This is a different Andrew. For those of you who watched the PQ video from Redwood City, if you watch the finals, the final game of the PQ, the person playing the Palpatine deck is Andrew. And I just played Andrew. So I just had to go against the person who made it all the way to the finals of the Redwood City PQ. And he didn't win the finals, so he finished second at the PQ. And I lost, but I did a lot better than I thought I would. I actually took the first game, and then Andrew took the second game, and then in the third game, we both got down to one move to lethal. So I think he had a 30-point base that had 25 damage on it, I think is where it was. And I think my next attack was probably gonna take it over the edge. But then my Data Vault base was up to, what was it? Mine wasn't actually all that high. It was probably 25 or 26, so I still had a ways to go, but he had a 7/7 Cad Bane. So remember in the previous wrap-up that I told you where I played the Cad, the leader, and I said, I can't remember, is it Cad the leader or Cad the unit that captures one of yours? Well, I've now learned the hard way. It is Cad the unit. Andrew came down with, we got crazy car. Andrew came down with Cad Bane and took, I forget which unit he stole from me, but he stole one of my units, and then he was able to hit for 7, and that was too much. I hit him with a planetary bombardment in the last turn of the game, but it wasn't enough to win. So anyways, Andrew took the second and third game. He wins the round. He moves on to the top 4. But it was good playing against Andrew. It was good chatting with him. I think maybe he might jump onto Discord with some of us in the area, and so hopefully we'll see more of Andrew. But I'm just happy that I didn't get completely demolished by someone as accomplished and successful as Andrew is. But with that does officially wrap it up. So I finish in spot number 8 out of 8 in the top 8. I did get a promo Amidala card for that. And after this, it's time for rotation, folks. It's time for a lawless time. It's time to change up all of our decks, work in credit tokens, goodbye ramp, goodbye a lot of the hard control, and I'll be seeing you down the trail as we rotate. Until then, I'm a 90 Star Wars kid. See ya. I thought you might like a little bit of a vision into some actual gameplay in the final 4. On the left here, we have Andrew, who just beat me with his Palpatine deck. On the right is my buddy Nathan, who beat me with his Vader Swarm deck. And at the table on the other side of them, on the left side over there, is the player who played the Thrawn deck that beat me in round 1. So interestingly, my 3 losses today came to 3 out of the 4 top 4. So talk about a luck of the draw in terms of who I played. So I don't feel as bad now knowing that 3 of the top 4 were people that I played today. So at the end of the top 4 matchup here, it ended up with both of the Palpatines winning. So Andrew won with his Palpatine, and here we have a Palpatine win against the Thrawn, which then leads us to the finals, the final 2, who's the top dog. Here we have some Palpatine on Palpatine violence. And what you're going to notice is that both players have notepads. Palpatine loves the notepad because Palpatine's looking at your hand, Palpatine's discarding from your hand, Palpatine's planning however many moves ahead, so they write down every little thing they see. Now, I tried to stick around to see how this matchup went, but here's the problem with Palpatine versus Palpatine. It never ends. I think in the first game, if I remember correctly, one of the players may have run out of cards. That's how long it went. So I left before they got to the end of the third game, but Andrew, who beat me at the beginning of the top 8, he would go on to win this game. He would go on to win the store showdown. So congratulations to Andrew on that win. That is the store showdown that we had at Game Kastle in Santa Clara. As I mentioned earlier, what comes next for us is rotation, and a lawless time. Looking forward to all the follow-up showdowns, PQs, and everything else. So make sure you subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you're in the area, come play with us. Even if you lose like me, it's still a pretty good time. Until next time, I'm just a 90s Star Wars kid. See ya.